The forest exploded with screams long before anyone saw what caused them. Leaves shook violently, birds scattered into the sky, and 5 teenage girls burst out from the shadows, running as if death itself chased them. Their slippers slapped against the wet ground, their breaths ragged, their faces streaked with tears. But what they were running from, that was a story far darker than the night creeping over Ijebu-Ore. Hours earlier, the day had begun like any other at Olifon College. Yet beneath the calm surfaces of school uniforms and morning announcements, envy simmered like hot oil. Adesewa had stepped into the assembly hall glowing with the ease of someone loved by all. Teachers praised her, juniors admired her, and even the principal greeted her like family. But the sweetest greetings often hide the sourest intentions, and the eyes watching her the closest were not those who adored her, but those who pretended to. Sod stood near the back of the hall, arms crossed. "See her face," she whispered sharply. "Always smiling like she owns the whole school." Kemi leaned closer, lowering her voice. "I'm tired. Every teacher calls her name every single day. Even Chief Adesewa is coming again this weekend. And what about the Dubai trip?" Busy added, rolling her eyes. She didn't even act surprised. "Daddy said he wants me to enjoy my summer break, please spare me." Lola chuckled bitterly. "God truly gives some people everything, and gives us nothing." Wrong didn't speak. She only watched Adesewa with a mixture of worry and resentment, as if she knew something bad was coming but didn't know how to stop it. Adesewa herself walked with a soft, unbothered confidence. She waved at friends, fixed a junior's crooked collar, and handed Lola a book she borrowed the day before. "I marked the pages you might use for your assignment," she said warmly. Lola forced a smile that trembled slightly. "Thanks, Sua." But the moment Adesewa turned away, Lola's smile collapsed, replaced by a deep frown. "I can't keep acting like this," she muttered. "It's like she's rubbing her perfection in our faces." Sod seized the moment, her voice sharp as a blade. "Then stop acting. Let's do something about it." Kemi looked uneasy. "Do what exactly?" "Remove her," Sod said with chilling calm. "Take her out of the picture. If she's not around, the school will finally see we've been the ones in her shadow." A hush fell among them as her words settled. Their breathing changed, something dark whispering inside them. Wrong swallowed hard. "Sod, you don't mean." "I said what I said." Adesewa waved at them from across the courtyard, smiling brightly. "Are we still meeting after class?" "I brought snacks." Sod smiled back sweetly. "Of course, Sua. We've been waiting for today." If only Adesewa knew what waited for her. Classes ended early that Friday, and the sun hung low like a burning lantern in the sky. The girls met Adesewa under the mango trees beside the science block. She arrived with a nylon bag of snacks, laughing softly as she approached. "I bought chin-chin and plantain chips," she said cheerfully. "And Kemi, I didn't forget your coconut candy." For a moment, guilt flickered across Kemi's face. But Sod nudged her subtly, reminding her of the plan, and the guilt evaporated like smoke. "Let's go to the riverside," Sod suggested. "We can eat there and record videos for our class project." Adesewa's eyes lit up. "Odo Ayoba. I haven't been there in a long time. Let me just drop my books." "No need," Sod said quickly. "We won't stay long." Something in her tone should have warned Adesewa, but she only nodded and followed them. Trust is a dangerous thing when placed in the wrong hands. The walk was long, and the forest grew thicker with each step. Ronk walked closest to Adesewa, her hands trembling slightly. "Sua, are you sure you're okay?" she whispered. Adesewa laughed lightly. "Ronk, you're acting strange today. Is something wrong?" Ronk hesitated, but before she could speak, Sod called out sharply, "We are almost there." Her voice cut through the forest like a whip, silencing any possibility of confession. When they reached the riverbank, the atmosphere shifted. The air felt cooler, the water dark and strangely still. Birds stopped singing, as if nature sensed something dreadful. Adesewa set the snacks down. "The river looks deeper than I remember. Stop acting like you're the only one who notices things." Busy snapped unexpectedly. Adesewa blinked, confused. Busy. Did I? Why do you always pretend to be perfect? Lola shouted, stepping forward. Every day it's you. Every award. Every praise. Kemi's voice cracked with emotion she could no longer contain. You don't even try, Sua. Things just fall into your lap. Adesewa's joy drained from her face. She took a cautious step back. Is this about my grades? Or the Dubai trip? Please, we can talk about it. Sod moved closer, eyes burning with envy. Talk. You've never had to struggle for anything. You walk into a room and everyone forgets the rest of us exist. That's not true, Adesewa whispered, voice trembling. It is. Sod screamed. And today, everything changes. Adesewa suddenly realized the danger. Her breath quickened. Sod, please. We are friends. I would never hurt you. Sod smiled, a slow, cruel smile. But we will. She shoved Adesewa toward the river. Ronk screamed, Sod, no. Adesewa stumbled, arms flailing, eyes wide with terror as the ground disappeared beneath her feet. For a split second, time froze. Then the river erupted. A massive serpent burst from the water, its scales shimmering like wet diamonds, its eyes glowing emerald. It shot upward, coiling midair as Adesewa fell toward it. The girls shrieked, stumbling backwards in horror. The serpent caught Adesewa gently, curling around her protectively. Its gaze swept across the trembling girls as if judging them one by one. Sod covered her mouth, trembling violently. What is that? The serpent lowered Adesewa into the water and vanished beneath the surface without a ripple. Silence. Then, panic. The girls ran, screaming, crashing through the forest as though the trees wanted to swallow them. By the time they reached the edge of the forest, the sun had disappeared completely, leaving only the pale glow of the moon and the terrified whispers of the girls. Their feet slipped in the damp earth, hearts hammering as every shadow seemed alive. What just happened? Lola gasped, clutching her chest. I don't know. Kemi stammered, her eyes wide. It wasn't human. Sod stopped, panting, and turned to glare at them, but her voice had lost its venom. We have to tell no one. Nobody can know about this. Ronk shook her head violently, tears streaming down her face. We can't pretend this didn't happen. Did you see the way it looked at us? I think it knew our thoughts. For hours, no one spoke of it again. By the time they returned to Olufon College, the fear had hollowed their stomachs, leaving only silence. Whispers began to ripple through the town the next morning. Some students claimed they had seen a giant serpent in the Odoayoba River, others said it was the goddess Yemoja protecting someone pure. But nobody dared speak the truth. Meanwhile, Chief Adebi arrived at the riverbank at dawn, calling for his daughter. Adesewa. My child. Where are you? His voice broke through the quiet morning. He searched, but there was nothing, only her scarf lying on the wet sand, fluttering in the gentle breeze. Days passed, and Olufon College continued its rhythm, yet something felt off. Students whispered when the forest was mentioned. Teachers avoided looking too long at the river in the distance. And the 5 girls, they became shadows of themselves, haunted by what they had tried to do. Late one evening, Ronk heard a faint melody carried by the wind near the river. She froze. A voice, soft, trembling but unmistakably hers, whispered, I am still here. She bolted to the others, fearless in every word. Did you hear that? It's Adesewa. She's alive. Sod pressed her hands to her face, shaking violently. No, it can't be. It must be the serpent. It's protecting her, punishing us. From then on, every corner of Ijebu-Ore seemed alive with whispers. The forest and river gained a reputation that mixed awe and fear. Students learned quickly, jealousy has consequences, and the unseen eyes of justice never close. Meanwhile, Adesewa remained safe, wrapped in the river's embrace, protected by the mystical serpent and Umoja's blessing. She could feel the power of the river coursing through her, filling her with quiet strength. And somewhere deep inside, she knew she had to return, not with vengeance, but to restore balance and teach lessons the world had yet to learn. At Olifant College, life carried on, but the story of that night became legend, a tale whispered in classrooms, over lunch tables, and at riverside walks. And while the 5 girls carried guilt and fear in their hearts, one truth remained clear. Some forces, seen and unseen, protect the innocent. And betrayal, no matter how carefully planned, always leaves a mark. Did you feel the chills of that betrayal? Hit like if you did. Share your thoughts in the comments. Would you trust your friends like Adesewa did? And don't forget to subscribe to Betrayal Files to uncover more shocking stories of envy, loyalty, and the supernatural. Stay tuned for the next episode.